Welcome to NEXTGames video on farming Odyssey on Thief. In our previous Odyssey video, we went over how to do your first Odyssey run and how you can farm scales in Odyssey on pretty much any job. This type of farming is an easy way to get NM kills, capacity points, and 75 to 100 scales. However, there is a far more effective method of farming if you wish to solely focus on lustreless scales. In order to utilize this farming method, there are some things that we will need first. The first and most important thing that you will need are tools to pick the chest with. Now, thief tools have a very low success rate and will often cause mimics, so I recommend sticking with living keys and skeleton keys. Now, as the knowledge of this farming method has spread, the cost of these items has skyrocketed, so you will normally want to make your own lock-picking tools if possible. Living keys are the items you will need the most of, and to make them you will need an alchemy skill of 39. The ingredients include a water crystal, beeswax, marble vine, and slime oil. That synth will make 4 to 12 keys. Now, the only thing difficult to attain there is beeswax, which you can easily make with an alchemy skill of 5, 1 fire crystal, 3 beehive chips, and 1 distilled water. Now, you can buy all of these items from guild merchants and vendors, and it costs you 3 to 4k per synth. Now, skeleton keys will only be used on coffers and Aurum Strom boxes, and therefore will be used much less frequently. Their recipe is much more complicated, however. For a skeleton key, you need 1 earth crystal, 1 carbon fiber, 1 chicken bone, 1 glass fiber, 1 animal glue, 1 hecti's eye, 1 sheep tooth, and 2 bat fangs. Now, most of this can be purchased from guild merchants, but the sheep tooth is normally sold out, requiring you to farm them in Con Highlands. Bat fangs as well cannot be bought at a vendor, so these need to be farmed off bats or purchased off the auction house. You need a bonecraft skill of 43 and an alchemy skill of 34 in order to make this. Next, you will want multiple methods of re-raise. Doesn't matter how you do it, you just want 3 to 4 re-raise items per run. Now, once you enter, summon 3 tanks, 1 support, and 1 healer. I usually choose August, Arc HM, Arc EV, Arcelia, and Monborough. Now, as you can see, the first group of mobs are the Agon mobs on this run. One of the key parts of a thief farming run is to avoid these groups. If there is a chest at one of the groups, only attempt to open it if you deem it very safe. If you accidentally aggro an Agon mob, it can take tons of time from your run and possibly lead to a loss. It's just not worth it. Now, on a thief farming run, you only have one goal: to open as many chests as you can with your tools. Each floor will have 3 chests on it. You want to be continually tabbing through the groups, as it's very easy for a chest to get missed while it's under a mob or behind a bush. Make sure you keep sneak and invisible up at all times unless you are opening a chest. Also, make sure you are not in the yellow or red, as you will blood aggro undead mobs. Once you find a chest, the maximum distance you can open it from is 6 feet. Get yourself positioned so that you're just under 6 feet from it, and without any mobs looking at you, open the chest. I suggest you make a macro for both living keys and skeleton keys that drops your invisible and then uses the key. This will make your life much easier. Now, when you actually attempt to open a chest, there are one of 3 possible outcomes. The first thing that can happen is it will say, however, it has no effect in the log, meaning that was an unsuccessful attempt and you need to try again. The second thing that can happen is it could say, oh no, a mimic. This means you've spawned a mimic and need to deal with that situation. The third option is it will actually open the chest, which is of course what you want. Now, obviously, if it says it has no effect, you need to use another key to try and open it. Personally, I feel the chances of a mimic increase as you continue to go through failures. So usually, after 3 to 4 failures, I'll switch to skeleton keys, so that if a mimic does appear, I at least know I did everything I could to make it not appear. Now, if a mimic does appear, don't panic, as you just have seconds to save your run. First, it's important that you wear as much magic evasion gear as possible. You will notice I'm wearing a full Malinx set, along with many other pieces of magic evasion gear. This is the most critical aspect of living through mimics, and them not ending your run. Try to make yourself as close to this gear set that you see here as possible. Now, this magic evasion allows you to avoid the stun that the mimic will always use as his opening move. You want to quickly engage the mimic, and allow your tanks to provoke him, so that we will keep him busy while you die. So after your trust provoke, you want to disengage, and aggro some mobs as you run away from the chest. When you're at a safe distance, take off your armor so that the mobs will kill you in 2 to 3 quick hits. This is a critical part of the process, as I found. If you leave your gear on, you often live long enough for your trust to die, then the mimic draws you back in, and your run is over. So you really want to die quickly. After you die, and the mobs that killed you walk away, get up, resummon your trust, recast re-raise, and get back to work, making sure to be mindful of any undead as they will blood aggro. Once weakness wears off, engage a single mob to have your trust cure you so that blood aggro no longer becomes an issue. Until then, find chest safely. Now, the third thing that can happen when you try to open a chest is it can actually open. This is obviously what you want, and remember to keep an eye on the spot for 2 to 3 seconds after you open it. There is a small chance a new coffer will appear once the chest is opened. Once a coffer is opened, there is a small chance that a Aurum strongbox will appear. Both the coffer and the strongbox have better chances at dropping more scales, but they're also more difficult to open, so make sure you use your skeleton keys on them. Now, thief farming runs can be very frustrating as you learn the ins and outs of them. Know that it's going to happen, and there will be runs where your run ends on the first floor because you do something silly. Learn from it and make corrections to make sure it doesn't happen again in future runs. I've probably done 20 thief farming runs, and I still learned several things each run that help, and that I should never do again. It's all part of it, trial and error, see what works best for you. As you can see right here, I got a coffer to spawn on the third chest on the first floor. But sadly, on my first attempt to open it, it's a mimic. Watch closely how I deal with this situation. Now, my magic evasion sadly wasn't enough in this occasion, and I still got stunned. So I know I'm in trouble. I get perfect dodge ready so that as soon as I'm no longer stunned, I can throw this ability on. Perfect dodge has now bought me the time to engage the mimic and get the tanks on it. I then run away while removing gear to give myself a quick death. As much as I hate to say it, that is exactly how that's supposed to work. I now wait for the toads to get out of blood aggro range since they are undead, get up, re-raise, get my trust out, and get back to work on the next floor. Now, if you happen to get 1 to 3 mobs to aggro you while you're doing your run, go ahead and kill them, especially if it's on the lower floors. However, on the higher floors, and if you get more than those 3 mobs to aggro you, then I suggest just sprinting through the rest of the floor as quickly as you can, opening all the chests that are left on that floor, and then dying in a safe location so that you don't waste all that time killing all those mobs, because it is better spent opening chest. Now you have to be very careful when you're weak to keep an eye out for undead mobs. As you can see, there are ghosts ahead. Had we continued, we definitely would have aggroed them. So instead, we go ahead and turn around and avoid that group so that we can continue to get through our weakness timer while looking for chest. So here's the situation. It's the third and final chest of the floor. We're still weakened, and now we've aggroed one bird. You don't really want to engage the bird here because you'll probably end up killing the bird before your weakness wears, which is going to mean you're still going to blood aggro and have to kill another mob later on to get yourself cured up. So instead, what I recommend here is what I'm doing. Go ahead and kite that bird through the floor. Things like pathing will make it so it's quite a bit behind you and isn't actually attacking you on the way. When you get that weakness timer down to, under 30 seconds, it's now time to go ahead and engage that bird and kill it, and you should actually end up being unweakened by the time that it's dead. So therefore your trust should cure you. You'll be back to a fully cured status, and then you can quickly move on to the next floor. Here's another tip. Make sure you use best use of your flee. If you're stuck on one side of the map and needing to get to the other, go ahead and use sneak, then flee, immediately use invis, and take off. Now one of those chests just spawned a coffer. Now I choose to actually open this coffer with skeleton keys before dealing with these two buffalo aggro. Now sadly, there is a chest hiding behind those bushes on the right there, but I did not realize it at the time because I wasn't tabbing through the mobs, and this is why you always must be tabbing through the mobs to find those chests. I waste at least a good minute or two here looking around for a chest that is actually behind me right now, so sorry for that. And there is that chest we missed behind the bush. Bah, another mimic, second one in the run. Okay, this time we didn't get stunned. Let's see if I can quickly get the other chest and then die in a safe spot before he kills the tanks. Okay, got them both. Now we gotta find a safe spot to die. Remove our gear as quickly as we can. Shouldn't be too hard, and down we go. Now it goes without saying, but you can make a macro that kind of removes your gear too. I just, for whatever reason, haven't done that yet. Now I have 3 minutes left, and 3 more chests to find on floor 7. Let's see what we can do. Sadly, the chests on this floor aren't immediately seen in these three groups of mobs here. Now there are only two groups of mobs outside of this view, in opposite directions of each other, so all three chests are in those two spots. I pick one of the two spots and go for it, hoping that at least two of the chests are there. Woohoo! Two of the three are here, and I only have 30 seconds left. We have no trust out, no re-raise, so just go for it. Drop that invisible, get those chests open as quickly as you can, hopefully before you die. Now sadly, I run out of living keys for this run at the worst possible time, and it takes me a few seconds to realize it. It actually almost cost me the ability to open that second chest. I quickly pop both of them with skeleton keys, and I end up with 20 of 21 possible chests for the run. Keep in mind though that we did miss that one chest, we got 2 mimics, we did not get the final conflux, and there's even time to kill a notorious monster in there, so there's still much room for improvement. And that's it, that's how you farm Odyssey on Thief. Now as I just explained, that was far from a perfect run, but it should at least give you a good example of the techniques you use to farm on Thief. Normally on runs, when you can open the majority of the chest, you can get 250 to 400 scales per run. And that could possibly even go up higher as this method is perfected. Now there is undoubtedly things that can be done different or better, as I'm still learning the most efficient way to farm with this method. If you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to post them down there in the comments and I'll be sure to listen to them. I'll be sure to keep working on Odyssey farming methods and will post future videos when I have more information to share on the topic. We also are expecting Odyssey to somehow be changed in the future and more added to it, so I'll definitely be looking forward to those changes and will be reporting back when those occur. In the meantime, I hope you found this video helpful. Please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to be notified when my future videos come out. I hope you found this video helpful. Stay safe and stay healthy.